All right, hello everyone. Sorry we're getting a bit of a late start here, but we had some technical issues with opening up the Zoom room. I'm glad everybody is still here. And so this is an information session about mathematics and computer science here at Hobart and William Smith Colleges. And I'm gonna have a few things to say and then open up to questions more generally. I'm also joined here by a few current mathematics majors, all double majoring in something else, as it turns out. So before I start talking more, I'd like to actually ask them to introduce themselves. So Garrett, Kalyan, and Connor, if you could, maybe one after another, just say a bit about yourselves and maybe what brought you to math at HWS.
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. So my name's Garrett McGowan. I'm a senior, like Professor Forde said. I'm currently a double major in economics and math. I'm also a member of the hockey team here at school. And I guess what brought me to math here at HWS was definitely the possibilities for post-grad.
Maybe Connor could go next.
All right. I'm Connor. I'm a double major in biology and mathematics. I'm also on the debate team on campus. And what brought me to math is I guess I just really liked math in high school. So I just wanted to continue my studying of math. I didn't actually think I'd do anything with it after college, but then actually I'm planning to get a PhD in math now. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
My name is Kawen Benov, and my sister has studied in the colleges before me. So, judging by her impressions, I decided to pursue my education there. I'm just like Garrett, also mathematics and economics double major, and participate in the International Student Association on campus. And if there are other international students among you, I highly encourage you to work upon the math department in Hobart.
All right, so thank you all for joining us. I'm sure that some of the questions people might have will be better addressed by you, since you know what it's like being a student here much more than I do. I know what it's like being a professor here, which is different. So let me say a little bit about myself. My name is Jonathan Forde. I'm currently the chair of the Mathematics and Computer Science Department. So we have two sides to the department here. I'm going to talk a little bit about both of those. About myself, I came here after bouncing around a few different institutions. Was very happy to land at Hobart and William Smith, primarily because I get to work very closely with students in a way that I didn't have the experience of in the bigger kind of state universities that I've worked at before coming here. And in fact, where I got my education at the University of Texas, very big school, very big program. Let me tell you a little bit about our department and myself. I do research in what is known as mathematical biology. So I work on applications of mathematics to biology, and in particular to writing mathematical models that describe the interactions of viruses and bacteria with human body and epidemics. So I've recently been working, for example, on studying the COVID epidemic and how testing has interacted with that. And now adding in the idea of vaccination and kind of exploring what some of the complications are that might arise as vaccination and testing are trying to be done simultaneously. We are lucky at HWS to have quite a few people working in applied mathematics who have similar research interests. And so we're very unique amongst liberal arts colleges in having a core of mathematical biology and the possibility for doing research with professors as an undergraduate. It's something that we really pride ourselves in. And there are a lot of chances for doing that kind of work. I'll name three things in particular that make that possible. One is that we have a program funded by the National Science Foundation called a Research Experience for Undergraduates, which runs in the summers and brings in students from all over the country, including students from here, to work on specific research programs over a nine-week project. And as part of that project, you get a stipend and you get housing and all kinds of other nice benefits along the way. We also have a regular summer science program here at HWS in all of the sciences. So computer science, mathematics, biology, physics, geosciences all have summer research opportunities where you would work pretty much one-on-one with a professor for an 8 or 10-week program. And in addition to that, we have a program of honors where you can work as part of your undergraduate studies. You can work on a year-long project with under the guidance of a professor that is often a research oriented thing. So those are some of the ways that we do that, and we really take pride in having that connection with students and having the opportunities. You know, and maybe you don't want to do mathematics research, you want to do research in biology, or you want to do research in economics or something else. We have those possibilities throughout campus and have a lot of nice interdisciplinary options. As you can see from the students who introduced themselves, it's also very common to have a double major with mathematics. If you have a specific interest in some other field, we have, it's very possible to kind of enhance that interest with some mathematics or with some computer science. Often that extra skill set is very appealing on the job market, for example. It really kind of bolsters your credentials as you're going forward and can serve to set you apart from other applicants, maybe set you above them in some ways. I guess the other thing I wanted to mention, so I let me not talk too much about math, although I'm a mathematician. We are also a computer science department. We have some professors who are both mathematicians and computer scientists, and we have also specialized computer scientists. In fact, we will be adding another computer scientist to the department next year. We're going to be searching for yet another computer scientist to bring a new area of specialization into the offerings that we have for students. We do programming in Java, and we have a lot of emphasis on graphics and database science and data science in general. So we have a lot of possibilities in the computer science direction as well. And I guess the last thing I'll say here before opening this up to questions that you may have for myself or for my friends here is like some of the things that students from our department have gone on to do, which is, so just a short list. So we have people going on to work in finance. We have people going on to graduate school, either in mathematics or in other fields. People go into teaching. People, especially on the, of course, on the computer science side, people will get jobs with software companies. Google, Microsoft have been employers. People have gone on to work for insurance or actuarial companies. That's more on the mathematical side generally. And we have one graduate who became an offensive line coach for the Hobart football team. So that's, and also the academic success coordinator for that team. So all kinds of possibilities coming out of mathematics and computer science. I like to say that, having majors in these areas, and especially coming from a liberal arts background where it's very well-rounded, even if you don't decide to pursue a career in that particular thing, it's a really excellent calling card that people look at and say, you know what this means? It means this person is very smart and is capable of many things. And that's often exactly what people are looking for. People who are capable, able to engage in complicated tasks and be successful at them, and able to work with other people on those kinds of tasks. So we hope that we offer a really nice training in those kinds of things. So at this point, let me open it up and ask for any questions that you might have for me or for the others here. So you can, if you want, you can speak up, or I can read your question for you. So we have one in the chat that I'll read out. It says, so I'm planning on majoring in math and minoring in computer science. Should I double major instead, even if I'm more interested in math than CS? So this is a good question. Certainly both options are good. I think, we have certainly, I'll start with the possibility. It certainly is possible to either major minor in math and CS or to double major in the two. We've had people doing both of those things. As part of the mathematics major, there is a requirement to take some computer science classes, which certainly comes in handy. Not always everybody's favorite, but it doesn't sound like that'll be a problem for you. And I think it's a decision that you would make along the way. You don't have to decide up front. In fact, you only are required to declare a major during your sophomore year. We really encourage people to explore different options throughout campus. This is one of the really key things about a liberal arts education, is that it does have a broader base, and you can take a little bit of time to look at some of the other areas and decide what it is that you really want to pursue without having to decide everything up front. So knowing that you want to major in mathematics primarily, you could kind of, tailor some of your courses in that direction while giving yourself a chance to see if maybe computer science does strike your interest more than you realize at first. Maybe there's a different approach that's taken, or different kind of projects that you have access to here that you're really interested in. So you have your options open for quite a while, and it's pretty flexible in terms of what can be done. Oh, so here's a question for Garrett, I guess. What's it like being a student athlete?
Yeah, so being a student athlete here, it's definitely pretty busy, to say the least. I've definitely had my fair share of homework on the bus trips and everything like that. But it's absolutely a blast, though. I mean, I enjoyed it, my time here, and these are friends I'll definitely have for the rest of my life. And it's busy, but you definitely do find the time to balance the schoolwork with the athletics, and professors are very understanding about it, and yeah, it's definitely a good time, and you definitely are able to explore athletically and academically here at HWS, which is a pretty good thing, to say the least.
And you wouldn't be alone if you do that kind of thing, right? There's a very high participation rate in varsity and club sports, but and especially the varsity sports participation as a percentage of the student body is very high here. So it's you'd be in good company. And I'll say that student athletes tend, in my experience, to be very successful academically as well. I was not as athletic a student athlete as Garrett is, maybe, but I was on a rowing team when I was in college, which was something I just picked up after getting to college, and I found that kind of discipline really helped me and helped me to focus on my studies as well, in a kind of ironic way, even though I was having to wake up at 4:45 in the morning to get to the 5:15 practices. They don't do that here, as far as I know, for the crew, but yeah.
Just the morning lifts usually.
The lifts, yes. There you go.
But yeah, I also will say too, being a student athlete here, and having a practice and lifting schedule, that it really makes you kind of block out your time appropriately, and it definitely gives you a chance to work on academics as well. But you definitely get pretty good at managing your time.
All right, so the question about the computer science program and what does the major include? So it's a pretty well-rounded major. So I could say the primary programming language, at least at the beginning, is Java for the introductory classes. That may be subject to update in the near future. I'm not entirely certain about that. Yeah, so good. Oh, thanks, Kalia, for the link here. Let me copy this link so that I can share that. There we go. So that's the curriculum. And what you'll find there is that there are several different aspects of computer science that are included, from the theoretical to the practical, right? So there are courses in theoretical computer science, computability, Turing machines, all of that kind of stuff, kind of the mathematical side of computer science, you might say. And then there are much more applied courses, such as software design, where you learn about like modular design and kind of the practices of modern software design, where it's not just you at a computer, but it's almost always at a team, and you have to be sure that you can communicate with the team and work together to build a bigger project by composing the individual components that are capable of communicating with each other without the entire thing blowing up. And through to things like graphics, web design, databases, and data structures. So I think it's a nice mixture of the practical and the theoretical. We also have some ongoing research collaborations. For example, Professor Bridgman works with the Geosciences Department, collecting data from our beautiful lake, which you can't see through this cinder block wall, but I'm going to gesture in that direction anyway, where they've been collecting data about the kind of environment within the lake over time through various sensors, and then the kind of data structures for making that queryable and accessible to people doing research on that has been very, very valuable. So let's see, we have a question about research opportunities and how competitive are they, and will you be able to participate in one as a freshman? So it varies. So in terms of competitiveness, I wouldn't say that there's anything too cutthroat about approaching research. Generally speaking, professors are very happy to have people participate in research and can tailor a research program to your particular interests. While my research interests are in mathematical biology, I've also conducted research programs with people who are interested in finance, for example, or economics. And I've also done one that was very highly theoretical, an algebraic topology, where the student had to teach me a few things along the way, but they were particularly interested in that thing, and we found a way to make it work. So if you're interested in pursuing research during your studies, we will find a way, and we will find a way that kind of fits with your needs and abilities and ambitions in a way. Whether that's going to be possible during the first year is a little bit harder to say, mainly because it's a question of background, right? Like if you have the kind of courses or the knowledge under your belt that will make it possible to really participate, then you'd certainly be able to. It's not that we certainly don't have any artificial limits on who can participate, but sometimes it takes a few courses under your belt, and also some familiarity with the professors, and like who it would be that you would actually want to spend all that time working with can be something you want to figure out over the course of time. So if there aren't any specific questions, maybe I could ask, I'll ask first Connor and then Kalyan to talk just a little bit about what it's been like being a student in math and CS over this past 4 years now, almost 4 years for you.
Yeah, so I think for me, one of my favorite parts about being a math major is like how small my classes have been for the most part. So like I think I've gotten to really know my professors, and I've gotten to really know like the other math majors through like having smaller classes. And it's a lot of like one-on-one type of tension, and like the professors are always there to help you if you need it. So I think that's one of the best things about being a math major here. I also did get to go abroad, and one of the classes I took abroad counted towards my math major. So I took artificial intelligence while abroad. So like for the comp sci questions, that's like kind of comp sci too. So like if you're thinking about being a math major, you can still study abroad too, which is really fun. Yeah, so I think just overall like small class sizes and like having a lot of opportunities. I did an REU. I was part of the REU here after my sophomore year. And we just found out this week that our paper is going to be published. So that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So, and for research, yeah, it's kind of like also department dependent. So like the math department, like since you get to know your professors pretty well, I feel like it's a lot easier to get into research in the math department. For my bio major, like especially with summer research, it's a bit more competitive because there's a lot more bio majors. But I did do bio research last summer too, if you're like interested in that as well. But yeah, I think just being on a small campus has small classes and you have a lot of opportunities overall.
Kalyan?
My experience overlaps with Connor in many senses, but overall I would say that the opportunity to be in small classes and to be able to go through each step of the process towards getting to know the material is much easier when you can meet with your peers, but when you know them, because when you're in a large group, you cannot necessarily get to meet them all. But when you're in a small group of students, when the professors are so accessible as they are in Hobart and William Smith, it's much more easy and much more pleasant to get to know the material. I also went to study abroad, and I had the chance to take some courses in math. And I think that we have a couple of opportunities for students who want to study abroad, which is also a huge something our colleges are proud of. And regarding research, summer research, I personally haven't done such, but I almost did once. And regarding, since I'm also double major in economics, I know that the professors in economics would also be very happy. There are a little more people in the economics department, and but you can still get the opportunity to go to do research, and most importantly, in the math department, since the people are so focused in their areas, you can definitely do things that will be seen by anyone, no matter where you go after that.
Great, thanks. So as a kind of final thing, let me make a broad case for why mathematics and computer science are excellent things to study in a liberal arts setting, because there's a kind of a view that, oh, if you're going to do the sciences, you should go to one of these, like go to an engineering school, go to a big state school. And there are certainly appealing things about those options, but the liberal arts context really does give you a different way of approaching these disciplines. It's more accessible. It's in some ways more human. Math and computer science, they're still hard, right? I mean, like, you have to work at them, and we will put you through your paces. That's for sure. But there's something about this being a collaboration between you as a student and us as professors that you can't get everywhere. And I think we really do pride ourselves on that kind of human connection that gets established over a course, over a semester, over several years as you become a major or a minor in one of these disciplines. And the fact that it's the professor that you're going to be talking with rather than a teaching assistant or a tutor that you have to hire privately or something like that, that there is that possibility to kind of go straight to the source and say, like, what am I supposed to be getting out of this? And kind of you can get that kind of direct path to what is the meaning behind all of these things? Like, why is it that you're asking me to do these things? And as a professor and as a research active faculty who are like working on these things, creating new mathematics, studying new areas, we can kind of plug you into what's the state of the art, what's really going on out there directly, rather than saying, well, maybe we'll talk to you once you get to grad school or something like that. Like, you get a more of a direct path to what's really going on, and you get to do that in a situation where you don't have to do just this one thing, where you can pursue your other interests on the sides, whether that be another major or athletics or studying abroad, right? Those opportunities aren't cut off from you. Instead they're enhancing your ability to study these kind of core science disciplines of mathematics and computer science. So, if you're considering coming here, I hope that you will consider it a little bit more, having talked to us. Let me throw it over for one last question or two, if anybody has something that they'd like to ask. All right, seeing nothing from the chat or from the assembled group, I'll thank you for your time and attention, and thank you to Garrett and Connor and Kaya for your attendance and your contributions here. So a quick question about how our after-graduate connections. So one thing that HWS does really pride itself on is maintaining connections throughout like having a very strong alumni network. So those connections are very strong. And in fact, many of the job opportunities that students will have an opportunity to pursue are tied to those alumni connections. We have very strong connections, for example, on Wall Street and in New York City, where There are many internships available during your studies, and then the connections afterwards. And reunions are a regular thing, kind of on 5-year intervals, and those are quite spectacular. I'm not going to say that you should like come to HWS and graduate from here just because the fireworks show at the reunions are so spectacular, but they really are good. So it's like another extra little thing you can put on there. So, yeah. All right, well, thank you everyone again. And if you do have further questions or you want to know more information, feel free to contact me. I will put my my email address here in the chat, and I would be very happy to answer any questions that you might have. And thanks again. Have a good evening.